Here's somebody that we can talk about. Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who's in California, who's the leader of the House Republicans. Now, unfortunately, the Republicans did win the House this time around, although they didn't win by as big of a margin as some of us feared they would. And if people had just got out to really vote and really turn out in every single area, just like I told them to, I mean, that's not to say Democrats would have won every single city and every single county and every single state in America, but we probably would have won a lot more. But unfortunately, we still have this thing called complacency, which is, hey, I don't feel the need to vote because it's either I already know the result, we're either going to win or we're going to lose. That doesn't mean don't vote. And as I've said in a few videos before, and I did an entire video dedicated to this, actually I did a few videos dedicated to it, complacency gets us defeated. It does us no good. It really does no good. And if the presidencies of Bush and Trump didn't prove that, then I don't know what will. Now, here's what I posted in December of 2021, so almost a year ago. Now, here are all the things that are wrong with Kevin McCarthy, and then I'm going to tell you what I said after that. So let's look at some of the things that he said and done. He voted against House Resolution 908 to condemn racism against Asian Americans related to the COVID pandemic. He said the resolution was a waste of time, and at the heart of this resolution is the absurd notion that referring to the virus as a Wuhan virus or the China virus is the same as contributing to violence against Asian Americans. Okay, so he said it's a waste of time. Now, this is also one of the people that's talking about impeaching Biden on no specific charge or on no specific reason. I think that would be a bigger waste of time. And luckily, we still have enough. The Democrats still have control of the Senate, even though it's just barely, but it won't go through. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. He suggested in a private recording with the GOP House leadership in 2016 that Putin pays Trump, which McCarthy said was a joke gone wrong. Yeah, okay. After the 2018 midterm elections, in which Democrats won a majority in the House, McCarthy said that the Democrats should not investigate Trump. He described investigations of Trump as a small agenda and that America's too great of a nation to have such a small agenda. He said that Trump had already been investigated for a long period of time. Okay, and I also added after that, I said, McCarthy and other House Republicans investigated Hillary for years over the 2012 Benghazi attack. In 2015, McCarthy said that the investigation, which found no evidence of wrongdoing on Clinton's part, had hurt poll numbers. You think? In October 2019, Kevin McCarthy said, there's nothing that the president did wrong in regard to Trump requesting that the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, start an investigation into 2020 Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden. First of all, I may not be a legal expert, but I'll tell you what a number of legal experts have said, and I'll tell you what both former and current federal prosecutors have stated, and a lot of them have gone on television and stated this. First of all, you cannot contact the leader of another nation and ask them to dig up dirt on your opponent here in America. Now, again, Trump being the guy who says he's got dirt on everybody, and it's what if you have the dirt on Biden, then why are you calling a leader from another country? I'm telling you, people, it's the Republican Party is just hilarious. That same month, when Trump said China should start an investigation into the Bidens, McCarthy shortly thereafter went on Fox and Friends to say, you watch what the president said. He's not saying China should investigate. Okay, hold on a second. He said China should start an investigation into the Bidens. Oh, but he's not saying China should investigate. What the hell is the difference between starting an investigation versus investigating? I mean, is there something I'm missing about that? And somebody could correct me on that. But those two things are completely contradictory with each other. I don't know what he's trying to say in that. I think he's playing games. I don't know what the hell did. So he voted against the January 6th commission. Okay, here's my question about that. Almost every Republican stated, especially the MAGA Republicans, said that real Republicans and real conservatives had nothing to do with January 6th. Remember what they said. Most of them said that this was a staged thing that was set up by Democrats. And it was saying, oh, well, this was Antifa and this was communists and leftists and liberals. And they all did this. Nancy Pelosi was all in on it. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and possibly the Clintons and Obama, they were in on it. Okay, well then hold on a second. If the Democrats did that, if the Democrats are responsible for January 6th, then why would you vote against a commission to investigate that? If you really think that they had something to do with it, wouldn't you want that to be investigated so that your opponents could be in trouble? That would have helped you if that was the case. But they didn't want to do that because I think deep down they know it wasn't. The Clintons and the Obamas or whatever other Democrats' name they want to throw in there had nothing to do with this. And on top of that, you do realize that, so January 6th happened in 2021. That was January 6th of 2021. The Democrats had essentially won the entire government, except for the Supreme Court, in November of 2020. Kevin, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you're not, but here's my question. Why would the Democrats stage an attack and go attack the Capitol building to protest the results of an election that they just won? If I'm running against you in an election and I win, why would I protest that? I'm protesting myself being the winner. So you're saying Democrats are basically saying, yeah, we won. Now let's go attack the Capitol because we don't like the results. I really wish somebody would have pressed him on that question. I don't think anybody has. And I just don't get the logic behind it. If Antifa staged it, it's so funny that, so Democrats staged it, but every person who was at that event, every person who was there, were all wearing Trump merchandise. They had Trump flags. They were wearing Trump hats. They were wearing the Trump shirts. They were driving the Trump trucks. But they said, oh, no, but there weren't really Trump supporters there. I can tell you right now. And not that I would ever even do anything like that. But first of all, even if I were to do anything like that, there's no reason for me to have any merchandise on me that is associated with Trump's name or any Republican's name for that matter whatsoever. Kevin McCarthy is either really stupid or he's just a really bad liar or a combination of both. And he's not the only person that's guilty of having that description. McCarthy does not accept the scientific consensus on climate change as of 2014. He was a major opponent of President Obama's clean power plan to reduce emissions of greenhouse gas from coal-fired power plants. He received campaign donations from Saudi Arabia's lobbyists. No surprise there. He supported Trump's decision to assassinate Soleimani. He then criticized Nancy Pelosi for defending Soleimani. Well, here's the thing. Soleimani was a guy who was fighting ISIS. So when we kill him, that almost kind of makes us look like a de facto ally to ISIS. And I don't know for sure that Nancy Pelosi was necessarily defending the guy. I haven't really seen any comments regarding that, and somebody could pull something. I haven't seen that. But regardless, that was just a terrible move, and it could have sparked World War III, which I thought many people on the right were scared that Hillary would do something like that if she got elected. So if she were to do something like that, it's World War III. But then Trump does it, we don't get World War III, and it's, we dodged the bullet, we're safe. And, no. Goodness gracious. As House Majority Leader, he led efforts to repeal the Affordable Care Act. No surprise there, almost every Republican did that. McCarthy opposed the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act of 2009, which added sexual orientation, gender identity, and disabilities as protected classes under existing federal hate crimes laws. He voted against the Local Law Enforcement Hate Crimes Prevention Act of 2007. So here's the deal. If there's a bill that's entitled Hate Crimes Prevention Act, and you vote against that, what you are essentially doing is sending a message to the public saying, hey, you know what? I have no problem with hate crimes. I mean, hey, look, I'm a white guy. I'm a straight white male. So anybody who's not straight and or white, they're a problem to me, and we can do hate crimes against them. And he may not be the one doing the hate crimes or actually saying anything openly, but still, it's the messaging and it's implied context, and people can see that. Now, why this guy is still, I don't know, especially living in California. I don't know how he's able to maintain his position out there. He must be in one of those, like the one red district that's out there. Throughout 2018, McCarthy opposed efforts to codify the legal status of dreamers. Codify, I've heard it pronounced both ways. I'm not really sure, but just codify the legal status of dreamers after Trump suspended DACA, which provided temporary stay for undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as minors. McCarthy opposed efforts to codify the DACA protection because he thought it would depress turnout amongst the Republican base in the 2018 elections. Interesting. He voted against allowing veterans access to medical marijuana, even if it was legal in their state and recommended by the Veterans Health Administration doctor. That's funny. I thought that Republicans always said that Democrats were like anti-military and anti-veteran and unpatriotic. I'm like, we're Republicans. We're supposed to be about supporting the troops and we support our veterans. Okay, but then you vote against something like that. And by the way, he also voted against the PACT Act. Let's keep that in mind. The PACT Act, which I talked about in another video, was essentially a thing that Biden signed into law. And I believe that bill was introduced by a Democratic representative in California whose last name is Takano. I can't think of the first name off the top of my head. That bill basically expanded healthcare access to more and more veterans. And he voted against that. And Biden signed into law, but somehow Biden's the one that's anti. Just throwing it out here, people. You can look it up if you don't believe me. I'm just saying. He still spreads the lie that Biden cheated against Trump. No surprise there. He recently defended Lauren Boebert's verbally racist attacks on Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Now, to those of you unfamiliar with that, I know most people on the left are already familiar with this, and I would assume that not many on the right have probably seen it. They might have taken the video down by now. I don't want to watch it again because I can't stand to hear that woman. I can't stand to hear her, and that girl is just... but the gist of it was basically she called herself doing some type of a stand-up comedy routine where she, and as you know, Ilhan Omar, you know, she's Muslim. So Lauren Boebert essentially said that she was in a building with Ilhan, and I guess they got into an elevator or something, and she claimed that she felt scared. But then when she saw that, there was nothing in her book bag, so I felt safe. Now, people, let's not play games here. We understand at heart what the insinuation was behind it. We know the implied context. And the implied context is basically stating that the Muslims they have bombs in their book bags. And that's what she was implying. And of course, her people just applauded it. Ha ha, hee hee. They laughed at it. And that shows you what they think. And they're just as bigoted and racist as her. Again, I'm not the one who said it. She did. So that's the list that I have right there. And underneath that, I said, I'm sure there's more, but here's some of what I know. My point being, and keep in mind, I said this in December of 2021. I said, if the Democrats don't get their stuff together for 2022, this racist, bigoted crook will be the Speaker of the House. Let's move our asses now. And we did move a bit, but not quite to the degree that we should have. And now that the Republicans had just barely taken the House, now this guy is the Speaker. Well done. Well done. So all I can tell you is he, along with many other Republicans, said that if they take the House, that they're going to promise to propose cuts to Medicaid and Social Security. So to those of you that rely on Medicaid and Social Security, well, and I don't think it's actually going to get cut because, like I said, Democrats still have the Senate and we still have a Democratic White House, and they're not going to be dumb enough to go along with that. But just know that just the idea of them proposing that and them going against, to those of you who are on that, nobody has any reason to get mad at me or anybody else who voted blue, no matter who. Anybody like myself who voted straight Democrat down the ticket. Voted for the Democratic president, Democratic governor, Democratic senator, Democratic congresswoman, and Democratic everybody else, Democratic state representatives, the judges, the courts, like everything, just straight Democrat down. Don't get mad at me, because I've been against this guy, and I'll tell you, just based on that list I read to you right there, I said, he is not for you. And I struggle to find anything good, really, that he has done during his time, or like in terms of how he voted or anything like that, that goes in favor of the average person. Because I'll tell you right now, we had 3 Democrats actually that ran in the primary that tried to get his spot. And the one Democrat who got nominated was somebody by the name of Marissa Wood. And unfortunately, the votes were nowhere near close enough to get her to the victory line. Now, she only got just over 54,000 votes, and he got over 112,000. So unfortunately, that was a landslide for him. There probably could have been steps necessary taken to prevent that from happening. But I just want to let the people know, I said, here's your speaker. So, because I can tell you who didn't propose cuts to Medicaid and Social Security, at least from what I remember, at least from what I've seen, the Democrats in the House. I can tell you right now, I don't remember Nancy Pelosi making those type of proposals. I don't remember anybody of the squad and the AOC, the Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Cori Bush. I don't remember them doing that. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. The two parties are not the same, people. They are not the same. So I just want to give you that news. That's how bad Kevin McCarthy is. You thought Newt Gingrich, John Boehner, and Paul Ryan were bad, which they are. This guy is arguably worse. So, to those of you that voted Republican for the House, I hope you get what you want. Congratulations. Kevin McCarthy is your speaker. What a world we live in.